with Max just inching closer to a return here, how do you feel like his presence will strengthen, best impact the team?
Yeah, I think, the way we're playing, it best suits him. I think it's that unpredictability, being able to constantly move it, playing with pace. You look at how Sam's thrived in these moments. You look how our shooters have thrived. We've all thrived, but our shooters in particular have really thrived with the movement and being able to, DG's on this side or I'm on that side. Sam's coming off for a shot here. Dean's coming off. So I think Max being able to implement his movement. I always say it's like Kyle Korver-esque to me, like running around being unpredictable. It really fits into everything we got going on. And then his two-man game with Evan can definitely take another step as well. Even Jaden.
When he's been playing the past 8 weeks, what are ways that he's still tried to stay involved? I mean, some guys have said, like, Coach Max, you've seen puddles.
I mean, you look at our zone, he was really a really huge component of, teaching us the fundamentals of it all, the principles. Even when we're going on our streak, he would always be like, so what? Like, you know what I mean? Like, that's just how he is. And, you always need that when you're going through those highs. You need a guy that always keeps us here. And I try to do that, but Max is always, that's pretty much his motto, his theme. So just continuing to be that guy that keeps everybody here, no matter if we get here or get low, like we just continue to play the right way. And basically what I've been preaching, and a lot of it I talk to Max as well, just like, hey, what do you see, when you're on the court you see stuff, but also when you're watching it, from the side you see different things. So he's been great for everybody, always been in guys' ears, and it's been a great vibe in the locker room as always.
And then you mentioned it's kind of a good time for him to integrate. At this point in the season, you kind of look for those new things. Like, can you relate to that?
Yeah, I told him don't come back when we're 15-0. You're gonna mess up the vibe. You know what I'm saying? No, this is perfect. You know what I mean? Because like I said, we're enough games in that I think understand fully our identity of what we need to be on a nightly basis. And with, like I said, with the way we play and him coming back, it's not like it's going to be a drastic switch. This is literally what he's created for offensively, especially, and defensively. He's a competitor, works with butt-off guards, you know what I mean? So this is the perfect time just because we've had the break, we've had time, to work it, and then even when we play, hopefully he plays this weekend. We don't know. I think having that time to be able to kind of figure things out, play, get back with the group, I think is definitely the right time for sure.
I mean, obviously this team's different than last year, but last year you guys didn't win without Max. You were 5-7 without him in the lineup. Did it resonate with you at all, like during this stretch, like, oh man, we're 21-4 and we haven't even had Max?
Yeah, I think even throughout the streak and throughout everything, it was just like, man, like there's a lot of things that we haven't even gotten to, I feel like, as a team, and I think obviously having Max is probably number one on that list. When you miss a guy that brings what he brings to the table, like you said, we're 5-7 without him last year, like his value, I think, goes over many people's head, just because, he's not having a great shooting night. He's doing a lot of different things. His gravity, what he brings to the floor, his offensive rebounding, his picking up full court, and then he has nights where, he'll score 10, 12 straight against Dallas, at the end of the game. So, like, he does so much, and I think that's definitely something that's been in our heads. Like, man, we haven't even, we've done a lot ourselves without Max, but Max is going to only amplify that and make it better for us.
When Kenny talks to us, he'll explain things and use football terms to explain them, and he says that he kind of uses soccer and baseball with you guys too. Do you like that he speaks sort of a different sports language when relating to basketball?
Yeah, I think you different guys, obviously we all understand basketball and you're able to equate it in different things, and we all watch different sports, so it's kind of cool to have things on your mind, when you're watching Thursday night football, you're watching a baseball game, or you're watching a soccer game, whatever it may be. It just speaks to what he's been around too, whether it's being in France, the French team, Golden State, with Clippers, he's been around Brooklyn, obviously. He's been around a lot of different things, and I think him trying to find ways to reach guys differently, I think is something that we all appreciate. I mean, I appreciate the baseball talk, obviously, but I think definitely it's a great way to kind of reach different guys in different ways.
Have you been around other coaches that have tried to relate it to other sports too?
Quinn has done that for sure, and that's why I compare Kenny and Quinn in a lot of ways. Just from a coaching standpoint, from a detail standpoint, from a building the relationship standpoint, it's no secret how much I love and appreciate Quinn Snyder, and I see the same, habits. I see everything kind of similar. Obviously, they're different in their own right, but I see so many similarities. you know, and Kenny and Quinn, which has allowed us to obviously take that leap as our relationship goes. So I think it definitely helps.
Based on what you've seen in the last couple of seasons, where do you see the two-man game between Max and Evan going? And obviously there's more handling on Evan's part, and now that's going back with Max as someone who's really good off ball.
You look at, even when we just played the game we played in Miami, you look at the way they played with Tyler Hero and Duncan Robinson played with Bam.
Yeah.
You look at how they were able to create shots. I'm not saying Evan's Bam or Bam is Evan, but like, you know, they're similar in regard to bringing the ball up, coming off handoffs, different things. You know, inverted pick and rolls. Do you help? You know, if Evan's able to go 6 of 8 from 3 every game, that also helps, obviously. But like, you know, being able to, you know, utilize Evan in that regard, being able to work on it consistently. Last year we didn't really get to it as much. Evan wasn't as aggressive. You know, our offense was different, you know what I mean? So like now we're starting to take that next step. And so for Max and Ev to take that next step, I think Evan's being able to get those reps with myself, with Sam in that lineup. I think him being able to do it with Max, who really that's what he came from. I think it'd be great.
You guys are nearing full health. When it comes to the conversations that you guys are having in-house about minute allocation and all those different things, what are those conversations when it comes to sharing the ball?
Yeah, I mean, I think there's all a reality of it, you know, but I think we all understand it's not something we learn from, but I think it really helps when you have the group that we have. There's no ego in it, you know what I mean? I think understanding that when your number's called, be ready. I think that's what the benefits of when you bring a group that's been together for 2 years already, and been through hardships, been through ups and downs. You understand, like, okay, you know, I'm willing to sacrifice this, and you're willing to do it for a guy because you have that bond, have that relationship with him. So I think that's one of the beautiful parts about bringing back the same group is because you're willing to do that for a guy you've been at war with. You know who's going to do the same thing for you.
And you talked a little bit about the coaching staff and how everybody's kind of implemented themselves into different roles. DeMar Carroll is a guy that was a player into a coach. What has he been like to have him around in all those different aspects?
He's steady. Like, you know what I mean? I always, the first thing I asked him, he was obviously around Giannis, around LeBron, 2 champions. So for me, it was just like, hey, you know, what do you see over there? I mean, what do you see from a leadership standpoint for myself? How are they able to take it to that level? You know, those were my first things. Then for him being able to relate what he did in Atlanta, especially in Atlanta. He had some of his best years, and obviously should have made the All-Star game. But you know, he's a guy that, you know, it's always a consistent, steady year, and to be able to relate to each individual player. You know, I think he's seen so many different teammates that he knows how to talk to myself, Evan, George, Max, like whatever a guy needs on a certain day. And you see the work he's been putting in with Jalen Tyson, like it's been phenomenal. So not only just as a relationship person, but also as an actual coach and development guy, he's definitely taking that step for sure.
It seems like arenas between music, Jumbotron, I don't know, shorts, and acts, like literal, sometimes circus acts, or between timeouts. It seems like they're pumping in more noise than ever. How do you literally manage that noise when you guys are trying to talk strategy while some of that stuff's happening?
It's hard to really realize what's going on around you. I mean, the only thing I really peeped was the guy who hit the shot for the money. I think those are the ones I think even coaches, we kind of stop and see if he makes it. I feel like those are the only things really. But like, I heard a lot of friends ask me the same question, like, how do you stay locked in? It's not until you're not playing that you realize, like, holy, like there's a lot going on. But like in the game, you're so hyper focused that there's really no. It's hard to explain. Once you're in it, you're like, it's just basketball at the end of the day. Everything else is kind of, you know, and I'll take my moments where I kind of look at stuff, you know, because it keeps it calm. But like, it's not as hard as it may seem once you're in the moment, in the exact moment of what's going on.
Kenny was saying that there are times where he will pause during the conversation during the huddle because of the noise.
Yeah.
This is a very old man question. Should there be less noise in the arena?
No, I wish it was louder, to be honest. Not to say it's not. I wish, I mean, like, I'm all for, like, you know, I think, like I said, in Orlando, they pumped in crowd noise. I'm all for it. Like, you know, the louder, the better. I think I love it. I love, you know, people yelling and screaming. I can't wait to play in the Clippers arena because of the wall, like, stuff like that. You know, it's like college for me. It's like high school. You know, you're in a loud, packed arena. It just speaks to the vibe of the game. Now, that's why I love playing here so much, because we could be playing the best team in the league or the worst team. It's going to be like that every single night. You know what I mean? I think that's what makes it unique playing here, is because it's not always like Salt Lake was like that as well. Like every night, it was always loud. You know, and I definitely appreciate that, because you go to some arenas and it's not like that at all. So.